Jealousy is an emotion that sometimes arises when a person feels insecure about their relationship. It often occurs in romantic relationships, but it can also affect other relationships, including those with parents, siblings, or friends. Experiencing jealousy in a relationship is fairly normal, especially in a new relationship or if the relationship is undergoing changes. Jealousy is common, and most people experience it at some point in their lives. One study of married couples who sought relationship counseling found that 79% of men and 66% of women defined themselves as jealous. Irrational and excessive jealousy can eventually destroy a relationship. It is important to distinguish between envy and jealousy in a relationship. How do they differ? Being envious means feeling angry, frustrated, or left out because someone else has something you don't. Being jealous is about the fear of losing something that you do not have to a third person. Occasionally, jealousy is natural, but when it becomes intense or irrational, it can seriously damage a relationship. Being able to distinguish between healthy jealousy and unhealthy jealousy is important to the success of your partnership. Jealousy can also motivate couples to appreciate one another and make a conscious effort to make sure their partner feels valued. In small, manageable doses, jealousy can be a positive force in a relationship. Irrational or excessive jealousy is often a warning sign of a potentially abusive relationship. Eventually, jealous people feel so overwhelmed by their emotions and insecurities that they exert control over their partners. They may resort to financial abuse, verbal bullying, and violence to maintain control and alleviate or mask their feelings. Unhealthy jealousy is sometimes rooted in fear of abandonment and a worry of not being truly loved. Jealousy can happen when someone is insecure or having a poor self-image, fearing abandonment or betrayal, feeling intense possessiveness or a desire for control, maintaining unrealistic expectations of a partner, and reliving a hurtful experience of abandonment in the past. If you're experiencing jealousy, it is important to address it before it gets out of hand. Both you and your partner can learn how to handle jealousy in a healthy way. Jealousy is an emotion that sometimes arises when a person feels insecure about their relationship. It often occurs in romantic relationships, but it can also affect other relationships, including those with parents, siblings, or friends. Experiencing jealousy in a relationship is fairly normal, especially in a new relationship or if the relationship is undergoing changes. Jealousy is common, and most people experience it at some point in their lives. One study of married couples who sought relationship counseling found that 79% of men and 66% of women defined themselves as jealous.
Now we have Sejino Nkechi Emmanuel Layode in the building, and she's a counselor and a relationship expert. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you so
you
much
fabulous.
for having me. Thank you. And I like your dress as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And yes, our celebrity guest in the house, we all know her, is Foluke Daramola. She's an actress. She's, in fact, a producer. She's everything. But I would like to mention she's the president of Para. You're welcome to the show, Ma.
Hi, good morning. How you doing?
Yes, it's good to be here with you today.
Yeah, it's good to be here too.
Yes, so
As
please.
you mentioned, I love this.
Oh, yes, thank you, thank you. So please, you know, a lot of people want to understand what Para is. Let's start with that. What is Para?
Para is Passion Against Rape and Abuse in Africa Foundation. So it's against any form of abuse, societal abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse. I was actually a victim.
Oh, wow.
I was deflowered by rapists.
Oh.
So I had an interview in the Punch newspapers, and then a friend of mine just asked me, it came from France to have a documentary on me. And because I was speaking out, and my psychiatrist told me then that that is how I can heal, because I was frigid for a very long time. So when I was talking about it, so they came to have a documentary on me from France, and the white guy asked me, do I have a foundation? I said, I didn't. And he said I needed to have a foundation because what I was doing was helping people heal. You know, because I found out that when I go for talks, at least I'll get 2 people that will tell me they've been abused, raped by someone very close to them. So, you know, and that was when I decided I was going to have a foundation. Now, my foundation was dealing with the girl child and everything and everything. One interview that Baba Agbako did, and he said in the interview that if he dies and we go to buy Ankara for him, that we are going to be, that his spirit will haunt us. And so I told myself that the fact that these veterans are impacted into our lives, they made us smile, they made us who we are now. I think it's only natural for us to give back to them, because there will come a time that we will be like them. This is a form of abuse for them to just be languishing in pain and lack, and not all of them do, and then a lot of them feels abandoned and left out. So I just took it upon myself that I was going to add that to the arm of Para, which brought about Para Veterans.
Oh, okay. Amazing. That's a beautiful package right there. Okay, now to talk about dealing with jealousy in relationship and marriage. My first question I'm going to ask, let me throw this to you, is why do couples, or why do people actually get jealous in relationship and marriage? What's the reason?
If you are in love or you are emotionally attached to someone, definitely at some point when you see another person that seems like a threat to you, it's natural to be jealous. But the only difference is just that when you cannot streamline between the negative jealousy and the one that is destructive, and the one that you can say that the healthy one, you understand? Because if you don't get jealous over your partner, then you don't have any feelings towards them. Because you see friends that get jealous when someone is taking their friend, you understand? So imagine that now to marriage. But the difference is that you have to find a level playing ground where you can say, okay, this is a healthy jealousy and a destructive one. Because if it's a destructive one, it can lead to death, it can lead to anything. You understand? It can lead to anything. As I said earlier, abuse is something that comes with extreme jealousy. You understand? And that is definitely unhealthy.
Very unhealthy. In fact, I would like to go with the term you used. I don't want to use healthy and unhealthy. It's healthy and destructive, because because when it's unhealthy, it's definitely destructive. Now I want to ask you, is there any way one can actually, start determining that this jealousy I'm having towards my partner is healthy and this one I'm having is unhealthy and destructive? Is there any way you can be able to pick so that people can know?
Okay, so when you start to, if a person starts to feel jealous, or they start to feel suspicious or overly concerned about a form of friendship or relationship their partner may be having with someone else, and you don't address it, or you don't see the need, because it's one thing to address it, it's another thing to see the need. You don't see the need to address it, it's already getting destructive. Destructive is not where, I watch a lot of crimes and investigations, so it's not when he is sleeping or she is sleeping and you stab them. It starts from the points where you are wondering, do I want to pursue this, or do I want to revenge? Some people even start plotting based on assumption. So I think that part, that's thin line between saying I'm going to communicate this with my partner, or I am not. Even if you don't know how to, at least get started, or at least watch a show like this so that you learn how to, so you can actually pursue it. Okay,
so if I'm to get you clearly, it's when the partner ignores the jealousy of the other partner, it might get destructive.
Yeah, so when the partner ignores that, whether it's suspicion, concern, that jealousy, like we're calling it, when you ignore it, it could be a red flag. And I think ignoring it should be the mother of it, because there are other branches I would like to talk about, but as we go along.
Okay, so how do one deal with a jealous partner? Because there are sometimes you see people complaining about he's going through my phone, she's going through my phone, there's this wiring or what, how you hack my phone to know where I am, know who I'm texting without even going through your phone. A lot of people do that. They have this other WhatsApp and other Facebook where you can hack. So how do you deal with such a partner?
I'm very happy.
Yes.
I feel that she already mentioned something, but I want to hammer on it. For every relationship, communication is key. You understand? If you do not communicate well with your partner, I don't even think you should go ahead to get married or get intimate. Do you understand? You have to be able to communicate any and everything. You understand? Because if you do not communicate well, the chances of that relationship lasting in the first instance is dead on arrival. Do you understand? So if you, that communication bridge has to be really, really fundamental. That is for me. And I believe that a lot of times I've had reasons to talk to people, especially abused girls, even marriages that the man would always do stuff to the lady. You understand? I've had a case where the man cannot have normal intercourse with his wife. Except he has to get physical.
Wow.
Yes. So at the end of it, that kind of thing was never communicated to each other. They didn't say that to each other because they were quote and unquote religious, so they didn't get physical with one another. You understand? So at the end of the day, for me, I think communication is the first step to any and everything.
I totally agree with that, communication, because if you communicate with your partner, I think it's reduced a lot of hickeys and problems in the relationship, because you probably be able to handle it. And if you can't handle it, that is where we have professionals like you.
Yes, and like you to answer what you were saying regarding why it gets to the point where people are even hacking. It's one thing to search up when you are not there. It's another thing to hack. Is which is a branch of communication, the trust. And trust is directly is attached to purpose. Trust is a direct branch of purpose. If you both don't know and you have not established why you are together or why you are choosing to be together, it could be 10 years and you choose again, you rekindle your purpose. Or if it's your relation, you continue to rekindle. It's not you say, oh, we married 2003, that's the end. So you continue to rekindle it. If you don't do that as often as possible, that's why we have things like coming for assessment. You don't have to be sick. Something doesn't have to be wrong with your marriage or relationship before we invite you to come in. Or well, we encourage you. It's not your choice if you're coming. That helps to rekindle that purpose, and that helps to continue to build that trust. Because frankly speaking, in our world today, it's even more difficult, where there's everything online. It's almost as if you're opening your home door anytime you wake up in the morning and decide to go online to people. You are welcoming them in. I don't know if people picture it like that, but that's what you're doing mentally. You're inviting everybody's thoughts to come in. So there is a lot going on, and there can be a higher level of temptation for a person who may not, or who may think the person may not be as tempted. So you have to continue to rekindle what's the purpose, why are we with each other, and then you start to you continue to rekindle and establish that trust, so that it flows into your communication. And because I trust you, I'm not going to be looking or pursuing you left, right, and center. But I need to know there is something deeper. Even if I trust you, you won't take it for granted.
Okay, so how do we deal with a jealous partner in general? I'm not talking about the unhealthy now. Let's talk about the healthy part. How do you handle it? Because we're still coming to the destructive jealousy.
So how you handle it, I already mentioned first, communication. And two, the truth of the matter is, if you are together with your partner, you should be sensitive to understand his moods. When we're growing up, our parents, sometimes they don't talk to us with mouth. They just talk to us with their faces, you understand?
Yes.
And so when you have a relationship, I feel that you should be sensitive to that person. When the person gets uneasy, especially with a third party, you should be able to know. And then also, just as she has mentioned, because I just learned something from what she said now, that the incursion of other people in a relationship, you understand, and then what is peculiar to Foluke might not be the same with Shade. You understand? So the way it works for my relationship might not be the way that it will work for your relationship.
True.
Some people will look at it as, for instance, let me use myself as a yardstick. When I love. I can deal with an unfaithful partner because I look at my partner as my baby. So the only thing that, because I am a complete woman, I see that, okay, there can never be a two Foluke. You understand? Because I believe that we all have our vices one way or another. And coming from a first abusive marriage, I would rather deal with an infidel partner than deal with an abusive partner. That is my own conclusion. That is for me. That is what works with me. You understand? So I stay from the onset to my partner, even while we're dating, that I would never ever take anything on anything that has to do with, if I sense any form of harassment or abuse, the marriage is over.
It's over.
You understand? So that is for me, and he knows it. He knows it, that my wife can take anything, but she would never take any form of harassment or abuse or bullying. You understand? So it's like he knows that this is how he can deal with that with me. You understand? And he knows that even when he's around the opposite sex and everything, he understands that when he needs to explain to me, I don't have to tell him, who is that?
Who is that?
Do you understand? But if he gets to who is that,
then there's an issue.
Exactly. So that is for me. But people have their different peculiar behaviors. You understand? Some people can actually say, some men would actually say, who is that? So that the woman will feel that he loves me. You understand? He can lovingly say, who is that? But some men will not even bother. You understand? But you know, to every relationship, there are peculiarities for the healthy one.
Yes.
You understand? For the healthy ones, is you deal with it based on what you feel in your relationship, not what I feel in my relationship, but what you feel. What are the templates of how my man is? What are the templates of how my woman is? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But you know, it is first trust.
Trust.
In a relationship that there's no trust, the chances are that the marriage will not even work. And
Wow.
conviction.
That's very, very deep. Okay, now when it comes to destructive, you know, I've had a lot of people going through phones. You know, some of them would even, once they hear, they will tell you, I have somebody monitoring my husband. Once they hear he's in a hotel with so person, they are driving down. You know, I saw I saw a news just this morning, or was it yesterday night, where a woman actually poured hot granite oil on her husband. And it was when they came to arrest her, she was now begging and saying sorry. That is destructive. And it was because of maybe relationship and all of that, maybe having to do with another woman or something. Now look at the point that's gotten to.
Exactly.
What is the way forward? Is it that you run? Or there's, I don't know, or there is something else one can do to actually still curb, you know, or manage this jealousy at?
So I like something that Foluke said, rather, which is very important about know your template. Know the templates of your marriage, the man and the woman that you are getting into a relationship with. A lot of times, many people get into a relationship and marriage with either just the feelings, or maybe the person got pregnant and they're like, let's just get together. So the purpose is missing. And then also, you are not taking out time to get to know each other. This is why investing, at least in 2023, in marriage counseling is not a luxury. It's a necessity. This is going to help you understand, because it's very comprehensive. Your user manual, everything is going to love language. You're going to understand the personality type. Even you yourself, you think you know yourself, but you're going to get to understand all of those things about yourself and your partner. When you both know those things, you know how you can operate. So a person can be on social media for 9 hours, seeing women shaking and not be tempted. A person can be on social media for 30 minutes, seeing women shaking and be tempted. So you have to know yourself. When you know yourself, you both will now come together to say, what are the boundary lines in our marriage? What are those lines we have to draw and we have to keep ourselves accountable to, so that we don't start hearing, you know, stories that touch. You start saying, oh, I didn't know you felt this way, or you were going to feel this way. When those things are spoken about, communication, and then it is established, then if a person goes over it, you can have that conversation of, we agreed this is not what is happening. For instance, those who have husbands or wives acting, I'm sure they have some sort of boundaries they want to establish. Okay, we know you are kissing her, but these are the things. Even if you're kissing, then I don't want you. For instance, I'm just in a healthy home. I don't want you. Maybe going to parties with her or whatever, they're going to have that conversation. They may not come and share it on the blogs, but privately, because it's already a lot for a lot of people to see their spouse kissing other people on TV, even though they're acting. So those sort of boundaries, conversation, of which should be plugged into how you both are wired and the purpose of your marriage, those things are missing, and that is where it deteriorates to things like this. This situation that you're sharing with us.
That's a whole lot.
To add to that, I from my perspective as an actor, you have to be complete in yourself. I say it every time. You have to be complete in yourself. For instance, a man decides to be unfaithful to you. You can't take it. You take a knife and you stab him. What do you call that love?
I don't even see it as jealousy. I think the person needs to be checked.
Exactly.
Now, what I'm saying, what does that say is that what are you afraid of, really? The truth of the matter is, I always say it, if a woman is complete in herself, regardless of the man, when he decides to be funny, you can just stay on your lane. Because if you're not complete in yourself, you'll still be looking for another man
to complete you.
And it will still be like a roller coaster.
It's an endless journey.
At the end of it, that same person is not perfect. Do you understand? You can't always be the star.
No.
My godfather will tell me, you can't always be the star. You have to take a bow when the ovation is loudest. Now you have to be able to improve on yourself, so that at the end of what you are bringing to the table is a lot. When you are bringing a lot to the table, the man would understand that you are indispensable. Or the woman will understand that the man is indispensable. Now, it's not about you killing your partner or pouring hot oil on him. What are you trying to preach? What are you trying to prevent? Why are you trying so hard to hold on to what does not want to be held on to? You don't need to.
Exactly. Holding on to something that does not even want to be held on to.
So when people say, this woman snatched, I'm thinking, for real?
How? is it a luggage?
The truth of the matter is, it has to do with emotion. We all are striving. What we are looking for is happiness. And it's what gives you happiness that you go after. Now, if a man decides he wants to dump you, look inwards. Okay, I'm not giving this guy the happiness. Let me look for my own happiness. Because that happiness will draw others to you.
Yes.
You understand? So at the end of the day, I always say that extreme destructive jealousy is insecurity.
I'm talking about dealing with jealousy, relationship, and marriage. This is deep. It's deeper than I thought. So there's supposed to be a part 2, but I don't know about that now. But first, I would like Foluke Daramola to actually tell us about Lagos Family Show.
Yes. Actually, this is a reality show that's one of a kind. It's value-based, because I'm a value-based person. It's one that has to do with the youth, not restricted to the youth. We have parents and an infusion of everybody. And the beauty about it is that, you know, Lagos has every and any ethnic group represented. And then different divergent languages as well. You understand? That is why it's called Lagos anyway. It's a cosmopolitan city. So Lagos Family Reality Show is one that we want to bring in every ethnic group to come in an environment, to come in the studio to express themselves, dance, exhibit their cultural value or what they stand for in terms of dancing, singing, even the food. You understand? It's one that we want to bring everybody together in an environment. Now Nigeria is like there's tension due to ethnic base and all that. You know, we just want to bring a show that would bring everybody in one house and in one voice, and then with fun, in so much fun as well. And then there's a whole lot of incentives to go with it.
Yeah,
you understand? Because the winner is going on with the car, with the money and all that. And then guess what? Everybody has to go with something.
Something
even
nice.
the people that are voting.
Oh wow!
That are voting to watch the show are also going up with something. So it's a show that is an embodiment of everything. It encompasses everything, and is one that people will truly learn a lot. It's an edutainment program that you would learn from. It's exciting and it's very different as well. So it's something that we've been cooking for years, and then now it's getting almost ready. And then people can always grab grab your copy. So before I forget,
Yes.
you would send 205 to any MTN line.
Okay.
And then you'll be part of the show. I assure you, it's fun. It's not restricted to the contestants, because the family contestant show. So you have each family well represented in the studio. You understand? But the beauty about it is that everybody goes home with something, and even the people watching as well.
Yeah.
And it's one that you will learn a whole lot from.
About culture.
About culture, about dances. I love to dance. Even though I don't know how to dance.
In fact, there are some people that cannot dance to save themselves.
Maybe I'll learn how to dance. But I love
program.
to cook, you understand? And then it
Okay.
has the cookery perspective,
Okay.
the cultural display, the outfits and all that, you understand? It's going to be so much fun, and it's a different kind of reality show, and it's one that, as I said earlier, it is value-based. And you know, when it's value-based, I think maybe I feel that our culture has been undermined and
Of course, yes.
talked less about. You understand? Meanwhile, the beauty, the richness of it, you know, as I said earlier, I said when we were growing up, when our parents would talk to us with I, and when if you don't hear on time,
when you reach out.
you know, all those things, you know, we're fast losing track of them. You understand? I understand the Gen Zs, but the truth of the matter is there are ways to infuse this thing in a stylish way, and it still becomes exciting and interesting as well. So I believe that with shows like this, our family show, I think it's awesome for ways to get to the Gen Zs and then do it in a funky, fun, and exciting way. Yeah.
Yes, I love it. I love the part whereby both people watching and those voting and even the contestants, all of them have something to win. And like you said, then our mothers, if they look at you, they're already sending a message.
Yes.
But Gen Z now, if you look at them, they'll say, it's something you Mommy, what's going in your eyes? Okay, all right, let's go back to what we're talking about, dealing with jealousies. Now, the question is, should issues about jealousy be resolved among partners, or should we always involve a third partner? Let me ask Signal. Should we always involve a third party, or should be resolved between the two partners?
Okay, so the thing about resolving issues is it depends on the capacity of the partners, the capacity they have built over time. That is why we are big in the families of industry, family life industry. We're big on personal development even before you get married. And I guess the whole virality of everybody talking about improve yourself is for that essence before you get married. Not so you, I mean, because you can't be 1000%. You are always going to see flaws. I just need to put that, because this improve yourself message now looks as if until you are perfect, and nobody is really perfect. You're going to keep learning even in marriage. So what capacity have you both built? If you've built capacity to a certain extent where there are some things you understand, like I shared, or I was sharing earlier, your love language, personality, you can always revisit some of those materials. There are some self-help tools nowadays through apps, through books that you both can sit together if you are willing to, and if you even have that capacity and understanding to start off from there. Then if you are not able to, you would even make some progress with that, but you can then now still go a step further to still, doing that doesn't mean you shouldn't seek therapy or you shouldn't even have a marriage coach or counselor in your corner. It's just the way, at least from above 30, some people already, people who are serious with their health, sort of have like a doctor, whether it's your doctor friend or your doctor's appointment, even if it's once in 2 years, you go there. This is something that we are advocating for in this day and age. At least have a coach, have a counselor that should be your family therapist, where you can always speak with, you can always visit, just check in, even while you do what it is that you do personally. So advocate for the personal ones based on your capacity. I have to emphasize that, because don't go and do it, you buy the tools, and you guys don't have the capacity to follow through because you are not serious, you don't prioritize it. Some people, I mean, they just, until they sit with the counselor in the office or the coach, they're not going to do anything. So if you know that is you, make sure you do that on time. Don't waste too much time saying, okay, let's try these tools. You don't do it, 1 year has passed and your marriage or relationship is deteriorating.
Okay. I want to ask her a question.
Okay.
And the question is, should coaches be attached to a religion?
That's a good question. So are you saying that should they have a religion or should they be attached to a religion?
Should they base their judgments on religion?
Okay, the straight answer is no.
Okay.
That's the straight answer. However, different coaches stand for different things. So you see some people who brand themselves as maybe Christian coaches or Muslim coaches. So once you go there, you see,
the reason
you already
I
know.
asked is because I use my life as an experience, and you know, my first marriage, I've had reason to add religious coaches, and I tell you, it didn't do well. It didn't sit well with me at the end of the day. It still didn't work out because there was a lot of sentiments attached to it. So that's why I asked.
You had to, and that's actually the straight answer.
I feel that is how it should be. It should be regardless of religion.
It should be professional.
It should be professional. If it is not professional, if it's sentimentally induced by 5%, then the motive is lost. Because let me tell you something. When a couple is coming to you as a client, we are vulnerable.
Of course.
And anything can trigger us back to our shell. You understand? So you have to be extremely careful.
Yes.
To be as impartial as possible. And to be as professional as possible. You understand? Because you don't want the lady feeling that maybe this person is also looking at my husband one kind. I don't want I don't want the man feeling that this man is just trying to be a feminist.
That is true.
So it's something that it's a profession that is very, very sensitive.
It's very sensitive.
So the reason why I asked was because I built a phobia for coaches in the process of that. So if I want to say a coach now, I'm going with the mindset that let me see what this one has to say. So it's a very, very sensitive. It's a very, I did more of research and reading and everything. And guess what? It helped me because at that time I was struggling to be able to achieve a difference. But you know what I was expecting to hear
is not what you heard.
I was thinking, maybe I'm mad, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I didn't know. And you know, it's a very sensitive place to be. I left the relationship feeling no form of self-worth. You understand? I felt like dead, like a moving dead person. You understand? So it's a point that it's very, very sensitive. Where partners have issues and you are the one that is supposed to wade in, very, very complex and fragile. That if whatever decision you take or the things that comes out of your mouth, it has to be 100% impartial. Or else there's going to be a twist, and that twist will be forever.
And I believe that's why you're bringing professionals to your show, because some people do pose themselves as professionals, but they are not active professionals. We're supposed to, I have my tools. We're supposed to have tools that I can deal with anybody, whether you're Muslim, Christian, atheist. I can do it, because if I'm in the medical space, I'm not going to say, oh, you're an atheist, oh, move back. That's not what it is going to do. That's not what I'm going to do. Now, this doesn't mean, of course, a coach or a counselor can have or should have their own personal value system. But the problem is people have not grown themselves to be skilled enough to not make sure that they're now forcing their client to take on that value system. What if that's not what I want? You get people who come in for therapy and they don't necessarily want, the thing you think they want. They want to do this or do that, and you're thinking, what's wrong? Well, you cannot be saying, what's wrong with this one? Exactly. You have to understand, and that's why empathy is part of our tools and all that, and get to where that person is and guide the person, understanding where the person wants to get to and if that's really the best thing for them. Not saying, no, this is not good for you. No, that's not how it should be.
To even add add to what you
Or even
said
judge.
about yes, exactly. Now to add to what you said about people that put in a little bit of religious spice into their therapies or their profession. Now I have a lot of women in my space that they believe I can't go and meet my pastor who is a counselor, like someone that is a professional. I can't meet him because the next thing is, your sister, you can't say this now. If you break up or if you do this, what will the church say? What will this say? And some people come from this African region of, you're a woman, you have to calm down. You have to keep quiet. Allow the man to leave.
Exactly.
Which is as good as silencing the woman, and that will draw her into a shell, and she'll probably even lose her own value. She doesn't even know what she's living for. So it's like she's existing but not living, which is a whole lot of things. I think people that are into that profession need to actually put out that religious aspect and deal with each person as their problem comes and solve it. Which, let's still go back to what we're talking about now. I'll direct this to you. Do you believe in involving a third party, like I asked earlier on, involving them when you're dealing with a jealous partner, or you just deal with your partner? Because especially when your partner does not even like a third party, and now you feel it's beyond you. Now, can you still involve a third partner, or you find a way around it?
For someone like me, unfortunately, myself and my partner, if the third party is involved, we'll just shout, and then we'll resolve it. You understand? We have come to that space. You understand? But, you know, involving a third party when you know the person does not like it is something that would worsen the situation. So I'll give you an instance. For instance, you've been having this issue about jealousy, and you know that your partner does not like the silent treatment. And you just decide that you just want to keep away from him for a while. That is when you know that he loves you. If he doesn't love you, or the emotions is dead, there's nothing you can do about it. You understand? Except you leave it. Let him. There's this song that says, "Love is something that you give it away and it comes back right to you. Lend it, spend it, give it away, and it comes back. If it's truly yours, it will come back." So if it's someone that loves you, give him the silent treatment. If he knows that he doesn't like the silent treatment, you understand? Give him like about 3 or 4 days so that you can get his attention. If someone that likes that likes the silent treatment, give him noise. I'm telling you, when you are giving that noise, no, at the end of the day, what is the problem? Let's talk about it. You understand? So even if you have to involve a third party, you stylishly involve the third party. If it's someone that respects his pastor, you just tell him, "Pastor, please know how you tell my husband that this you are seeing this spiritually." That is what we call the woman's honey ways, but it's for good. Or if it's his mother or his sister that you know that he has a lot of respect for, you can just tell him that. You can tell that person to tell them that they sense that there's trouble. Not that you spoke with them. Because some men don't like it.
They don't like it,
or some women don't like it. So I just sense that there's an uneasiness amongst the two of you. What is going on? Do you understand? That is a more subtle way. You understand? So when the person says, before the man says everything is not okay. Do you understand? So just bring it up at the end of the day. So that at the end of the day, it's easier that way. But when you be the one to go and tell the person, go and talk to the person, he can bruise his ego. As a woman, he can bruise her ego as well. So it's best to just understand the language of your partner.
Great, amazing. Yeah.